English never stops to amaze me. You've got mess ups, you've got ifs and buts, you've got whens and buts, and you know, it's incredible. Do you want to speak English like a pro? Well, roll up your sleeves, my friends, and get started. You've been procrastinating enough, and English is not the hardest language to learn. No more ifs and buts. Wait, isn't if a subordinating conjunction, and isn't but a coordinating conjunction? And can you make plural out of a conjunction? Well, anything is possible, at least in English. And if you are curious and want to find out more about the most productive pattern to create new words in English, der allerhäufigste Wortbildungsprozess, самый распространенный метод словообразования in present-day English, definitely stick around to the very end, because we're going to be talking about conversion. So, what are you waiting for? Hold on tight and let's go! Всем привет! Hallo, zusammen! Hi guys! Welcome back! My name is Anastasia and I love breaking down English, German and Russian into tiny little bits and pieces so that when we put them back together, the massive puzzles make sense, hopefully. Well, that's at least my approach. That's how I've learned English and German. Wow, your English is superb. Wow, your German is so good. Well, that's my system, if you like. You've got to understand the basics. You've got to know how the language works. You've got to know what structure underlies that language. And so, without further ado, let's get started. I've divided this episode into two parts. In part one, we are going to define what conversion is, and we'll be talking about the types of conversion. In part two, we are going to be talking about the most commonly derived words by means of conversion in modern English. Based on that video, I hope you remember the transformation that took place from Old English to modern English. It's incredible how much English has lost in terms of its inflectional morphemes. And so, being left with merely 8 inflection morphemes, conversion has become the most popular word formation process since Middle English, and particularly since early modern English, so roughly since the 16th century. People are creative creatures and they constantly need to come up with new words, also because of technological advances, right? You've got, for example, a completely new verb, which is to Google, right? But what do I mean exactly by conversion? Well, a free morpheme becomes a member of a different word class. Word class, часть речи, and thus is used in entirely new syntactic context, which of course deserves a new entry in the dictionary. Isn't it brilliant? One word form, but 2 word classes. For example, you've got the verb to mess up, right? So intransitive, and also to mess something up, transitive one, so takes an object. But I've newly come across a phrase, and English never stops to amaze me. When there are any mess ups in your video, you can cut those out, right? Right. Or you've got the verb to blow up, for example, in the context of making YouTube videos, right? Because I'm constantly trying to improve the quality of my videos, I of course watch the giant channel makers like Think Media or vidIQ, right? To blow up channel, you've got blow ups, again used as a noun. In my intro to this episode, I was talking about no ifs and buts. You've got 2 conjunctions, if, a subordinating conjunction, and but, a coordinating conjunction. But this phrase, no more ifs and buts, these are definitely used as objects here. How do you know? Well, as nouns, because we've got the pre-modifiers that always precede the noun or the noun phrase, right? So no more ifs and buts. And it is a thing in any given language. Once a word has been created. It then goes through a process of lexicalization and then potentially institutionalization, and once it's got immortalized in the dictionary, then there is a new lexeme, right? For example, also the phrase to up the prices. I am sorry isn't up a preposition / an adverb, depending on the syntactic context. But to up the prices is definitely a verb here. To down a beer, which is an example in my favorite book ever, to get the nitty-gritty about English and also in contrast to German. To down a beer. Down, again, isn't it a preposition or an adverb, depending on the syntactic context it's being used in. Now, to down a beer, down is definitely a verb, right? Okay, you get my point. Now, let's talk about the types of conversion. What we've seen here, these are definitely instances of the so-called total conversion. So we've got morphologically marked, we can see it. And there is also the so-called partial conversion, which means that the change is not marked morphologically but phonologically. Right, so we can differentiate between total conversion and partial conversion. Total conversion is marked morphologically. We can see the change of the word class. 1 beer, 2 beers. 1 coffee, 2 coffees. To mess up, but mess ups. If, but no ifs and buts. And 2 up something or 2 down something, right? In case of the partial conversion, there is the change of the word class is not marked morphologically, but phonologically, my friends. Here we go. Phonetics and phonology, if you want to check that one out. What happens is the word final sounds change from voiceless to voiced fricatives. So we've got the belief, but to believe, the use, but to use, the mouth, but to mouth, or the main accent is shifted to the left. We've got to subject, but the subject, to record, but the record, to conduct, but the conduct, abstract, but the abstract, to sit up, but sit-ups, to take off, but ready for take-off, to show off and show off. Hi, and welcome to the second part of today's episode, in which we're going to be talking about what words especially are formed by means of conversion in present-day English. Based on that video, in which I was talking about the most productive suffixes in modern English, hopefully you remember that there are only 2 productive suffixes with the help of which you can form verbs, being ify, as in signify or identify, and eyes, as in symbolize or monetize. What happens is, you've got a noun, but you can't form a verb out of that noun, which is called denominal verb, because the inventory is quite limited. We've talked about it, right? And so what happens is, the noun, the word form, for example, a bottle, becomes a verb, to bottle. Mail, to mail. Queue, to queue. Ship, to ship. Shoulder, to shoulder. Particularly verbs are formed by means of conversion. They also become verbs out of adjectives. So you've got come, to come. Clean, to clean. Dry, to dry. Empty, to empty. Open, to open. The list goes on and on and on. Of course, you can also build nouns out of verbs such as cough, cover, desire, and you can also build nouns out of adjectives. For example, you've got a bitter, which is sort of incredible, right? Because bitter is an adjective. But what happens is you leave out a chunk of this noun phrase, which is a pint of bitter. So you leave out pint of, and there you go, you've got a bitter, or a final, or a regular. So originally you'd have a regular customer, then you leave out the word customer, and you are being left with a regular, right? Or a daily. Originally you'd have a daily newspaper. You leave out the newspaper for the sake of economy, articulation, business, and so on and so forth. And what remains is a daily. Also, you used to have the poor people, the rich people. You omit the last noun, which is people, and you've got the poor, the rich, the wealthy, and so on and so forth. In my eyes, it's a brilliant device to form new words. And as I said in the intro, anything seems possible. Okay. Alright guys, this concludes my episode. I hope it's been helpful. If you liked this video at any point, please hit that like button. Share if you've got friends or like-minded people who are interested in learning foreign languages. And consider subscribing to my channel down below because it really supports my channel. I wish you all well. Всем пока! Tschüss zusammen! Bye guys! All the best. Stay in touch. I'll see you in my next video.